What is the best piece of marketing advice that you've ever received, and how has it impacted your career or life? This is a thread I found on Reddit earlier today, and I felt like there were a couple comments in here that I really resonated with that I wanted to talk about. If you're new here, real quick, my name is Nick. I've got about 10 years of experience helping SaaS companies and startups take their marketing from 0 to 1, either being the sole marketer or founding marketer of a team, all the way up to being part of a small marketing organization. Let's just jump straight into this. The first piece of advice that I really resonated with was learn marketing, not platforms. This is really, really crucial. What this means is that marketing at its foundation is about listening to what people want and then finding a way to give it to them. It's about getting really, really good at listening or paying attention to how people behave when they're in proximity to your product, to your content, things like that. Especially on Reddit and tons of marketing forums or startup forums, you'll often see people talking about jumping straight into tactics like go big on LinkedIn, spend all your time writing content for this type of platform, jump over to Medium, start a Beehive or a Substack. Every couple of months, there's usually like a flavor of the month, a platform that everybody uses or really tries to amplify their voice on. And at the end of the day, I don't think that the platform itself matters. What matters is your ability to understand and pay attention to how people are behaving and then leaning in to creating content or creating a marketing plan that addresses those fundamentals. I think so long as you're able to listen and understand how marketing works at its core by being able to listen to people and then deliver them what they want, the platforms don't matter. They're just different mediums for delivering your message. And so long as you're able to pay attention to the fact that people only open their email once or twice a day, or they check their text messages more frequently or less frequently, you can start to craft messaging that's specific to each of those channels, regardless of where an audience goes. So I think this is my number one best piece of marketing advice. I really resonated with this, and I saw that it was upvoted pretty high. The next piece of advice is maybe more career-oriented for anybody who works in marketing. We are selling hamburgers, not lives. I think most people who work in any sort of large organization can really resonate with this. What you often find if it's your first marketing job or even after you've been working for years and years, that a lot of companies sometimes take themselves too seriously, where they're like a B2B SaaS product and they automate some sort of data pipeline. But when you go to their website, it looks as though they are solving the world's curing the world's diseases or some sort of like really big problem, when in reality it's just a SaaS application. So don't get too sucked into company culture or those sorts of mottos where people pretend that you are saving the world or doing something enormous, when at the end of the day you are just selling hamburgers or doing something mundane. I think it's maybe a little less prominent or prevalent these days, this kind of toxic startup culture. We are a family and we're all in it together. I think that's kind of going away a little bit, but just something to keep in mind if you are trying to get like your first marketing job or your first tech job. Remember at the end of the day that it's not that serious. You're just selling hamburgers, not saving lives. The last piece of marketing advice that I thought was really, really helpful from this thread, the best piece of marketing advice other people have gotten, is right here. This this might even be more important at the end of the day. This says to always focus on the revenue. Get people to buy quickly, buy a lot, buy often, and tell their friends. Now, I think that the word buy here can maybe be substituted for any sort of work that you are doing. Buying in a kind of capitalist structure or consumer structure is the best indicator that the thing that you are building is something that people want. When they buy it in the store, they have decided to not buy one of hundreds of other things and instead just buy yours. So that's a good vote of validation that the thing that you're doing, that you're on the right track. So getting used to paying attention to revenue drivers in a business. What are the things that are moving the needle at the end of the day? What is making the product sell and not sell? The quicker that you can figure that out, the better. Oftentimes, I know I've ranted about it on the channel before, a lot of startups run into this problem where they get really, really invested in building the product, spending months or years building something before ever even trying to sell it to anybody or get validation. So before you try to 10x or scale the business, Do the unscalable, as they say. Focus on revenue. How can you get one person to buy it? If the idea is there to sell, if your goal is to make money, how can you get one person to buy it? And then 2 people, and then 4 people. Don't try to think about traffic and YouTube views. All of those things are just secondary until you make one sale. That is the most direct KPI or point that you can pay attention to that I think often gets thrown into the wind when you're in the throes of making content or doing some other sort of marketing work that's easily measured in vanity metrics. If people aren't buying it, it isn't a real business. If you've got any essential marketing advice that you'd like to share, be sure to leave it down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.